Hello everyone and welcome to the very first episode of MechMerlin's 5 most interesting interest checks. Anyway, I've noticed that there's been so much news out there that I can't cover everything on my Sunday night group buy streams. There's so many interest checks, I think there's at least 30 a day. So I figured that starting with this stream, I'm going to try and cover at least 5 interest checks every single week. Hopefully, we'll see if my time permits and everything. But I'll be choosing 5 interest checks that interest me the most for good or for bad. Anyway, if you guys want more detailed information, check out the links down below. Let's get this show on the road. The very first interest check is GMK Thai Tea. This was an interest check proposed by Puade 3 in Ohio way back in April 2020. If you don't know what Thai tea is, you are absolutely missing out. It's basically just a Ceylon tea, milk, and sugar blend. I know there's a bunch of different recipes out there, but that's the typical mixture. So if you've never tried one before, go to your nearest Thai restaurant and order it. Anyway, the legends are as follows. For the alpha base, you've got RAL colors 75, 90, 20. You guys can see all this information. Proposed kits are a base supporting full size TKL 65, 60, 75, you name it, followed by an orange alphas only kit, and followed by an orange alphas with cream accents kit. Lastly, space-bars. Potential vendors currently are Pank.co, Desk Hero, Prototypist, MyKeyboard.eu, Daily Clack, ZFrontier, and MonoK. At this point, I see no start date or pricing, but given the size of that base kit, I imagine it to retail somewhere between 120 and 140 bucks. Let's go look at these vendors. Remember guys, vendors give a good estimate of what a kit should look like, but the colors aren't going to be 100% accurate. The renders look good, but based on what I'm seeing here, the set seems to look best on darker colored boards such as black and a maroon case here. I've actually moved away from darker colored keyboards, so I'm at a loss as to what board I would put this on if I were to purchase this set. This set I feel does capture the colors most visible in Thai tea, so good job Puade. However, I do have to say when I first saw this, I thought it was a rerun of GMK Carbon. A large part of that though can be attributed to my slight color blindness in which I can't see purple all that well. I will have to say that the orange colored alphas don't really vibe with me, mainly because I think it makes the legends harder to see for some reason. The MechMerlin verdict for the set is maybe. I would highly recommend not getting the orange alphas because they don't look all that great to me. So it's funny, I don't know how to pronounce this word, I'm just thinking that's how you pronounce it. I looked on Google, I looked on YouTube, can't see anything, so I'm just gonna assume it's JTK Griseann. Anyway, this is an interest check proposed by Hudro Thrilson. Griseann is Gaelic for black and white. This was originally run by ZFrontier using GMK with green, pad-printed sub-legends. Royal Alpha was inspired by Triumph Adler typewriters from long ago. And the EPBT version was run by Donut Cables. Harnessing JDK's triple shot abilities, these sets will have not just the main legend, but the sub-legend wear evenly over time. From photos here, it seems that the proposed kits are base, which seems to cover the usual suspects from 60% to full size, green accents, and several colored spacebar kits. Vendors are currently tagged to be Novelkeys, Apex Keyboards, MyKeyboard, Daily Clack, MonoK, and ZFrontier. No current release date and no pricing yet, but based on the size of that base kit and history of JTK triple shots on Novelkeys, I'm assuming this is going to be 100 bucks, give or take. Personally, I'm a big fan of JTK, but they are not GMK, so don't expect the same degree of quality, especially in the legends. Honestly, I don't stare at my keyboard while typing, so any such legend inconsistency won't be noticeable to me at all. But Merlin, 100 bucks is not too far away from GMK's price. That's true. But don't forget, the draw of this kit is that it's triple shot, something that GMK has yet to do. Anyway, between these two sets, I am more in favor of Royal Alpha. I think I have plenty of white on black type sets and I do not need more, even if it's got green sub-legends. The MechMerlin verdict for the set? is highly recommend, especially if you don't have any triple shot sets yet and just want to give JTK a try. Next up is GMK Yuri R2 / Sky Data. GMK Yuri is inspired by the first human ever in space, cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, and is based off of the posters featuring the Soviet Vostok 1. Kit-wise, you've got two base kits. You've got the Yuri base kit and you've got the Sky Data base kit. You've also got 40s, icon mods, Cyrillic extras, novelties, cherry picker, and space bars. Vendors are Oblotsky, Novelkeys, Desk Hero, and Monokai. What's different with R2 is that you now have a base kit called Sky Data and also an additional novelty kit called Cherry Picker. Group buy is supposed to start this November, so keep an eye out for that. Given the size of that base kit, I'm expecting anywhere from 120 to 140 as well. So I gotta admit, this is one of the sets that I regret not purchasing. At the time, I was just starting to get into GMK key sets and also getting over my fear of shining ABS. I wanted not just the base kit, but the Cyrillic one as well. This made the overall cost a bit too hefty for my wallet. If you're looking at this and wondering why it looks familiar, I'd say it's because it looks very similar to Mizu if it had red legends. I do have to say that I prefer Mizu over this, as I think it better color matches a variety of boards. The red in GMK Yuri tends to take away from that. Looking at the old drop group buy, and from what I remember seeing in a meetup, it seems to work best on black boards. Anyway, the MechMerlin verdict is maybe. I'm still seeing the same issue that I hit last time, in which Cyrillic and base is a little bit more expensive than I want to spend on a key set. Next up is the Saturn 60, interest checked by Burgess Latro in May of 2020. Boy, did this catch my eye because of its massive size. Its dimensions are 343 by 203 by 70 millimeters with the handle folded down and with a weight of roughly 2 kilograms. It's also got a typing angle of 7 degrees. The board also comes with a custom QMK and VIA powered PCB known as the Titan 60. From looking at the renders and the actual prototype board, this also seems to have ESD protection. I would love to see that confirmed. This board actually already has prototypes and even a typing test. You may be thinking this is going to be a very expensive board due to its size and weight, but no. Apparently it's only going to be around 125 to 175, and the target group buy date is sometime in October. Looking at its hollow nature, I was fully expecting it to sound terrible, but the typing test posted seems to say otherwise. It doesn't sound half bad at all. I will say that the board's aesthetics make it seem like it fits more in a data center on top of a rack instead of on your desk. It's a 60%, but it seems to have the length of a TKL and the width of one of those old Cherry G80 boards. As unsightly as this looks, I like it. This is going to be a conversation starter if you bring it to a meetup. So if you do have a cool 175 or so in your wallet that you can't possibly spend on anything else, do consider buying this board. The MechMerlin verdict is a strong maybe. Now this is an IC that's more recent. This is a keyboard interest checked in September by JM Sir. This is the Nyaong 75, and if you know me, you probably know why this caught my interest. It's a cat. It's a cat-shaped board. In fact, if you read the tagline, it is keyboard of the cat, by the cat, and for the cat. This is a 75% aluminum-plated, burger-mounted keyboard with a typing angle of 7 degrees. The PCB supports both ISO and ANSI layouts and will support both QMK and VIA. It will also have a USB-C daughter board. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing any mention of ESD protection anywhere. This will be produced in Korea in the first quarter of 2021 and will have an MOQ of $300 with a total price targeted at around $400. Unfortunately, all the renders are just of the outside of the case. I can't really see the internal workings or how the burger mount actually works. Is this going to be a really hollow board? Maybe. Just with those specs alone, $400 is sounding very expensive, but you do have to factor in the unique design. One thing to factor in is it looks like JM Sir is really new to Geek Hack with very little posts. Typically, if you're going to hand over $400 to anyone, you kind of want them to have a little bit more credibility, so that really makes me a little worried about this. Despite all that, I will have to give this a very biased MechMerlin verdict of must buy, especially if you are a cat fan like me. Anyway guys, thanks for joining in. Hope you enjoyed this segment. I do plan on making one every week. If you've got any questions about interest checks that I talked about today, jot them down in the section down below. And if you would like me to look at any interest checks, maybe something that you've done yourself, definitely jot that down below as well. Anyway, I will see you guys next week. Ciao.